So this video series is an invitation to heal the sacred feminine. And first I want to tell you what I mean by the sacred feminine. I mean the sacred essence, the divine feminine essence that dwell inside of every human being. So the deep, empathic, compassionate healing, come to me, I will heal you, I will hear you, I will hold your pain with you. That is a feminine essence. And that is not exclusive to the biological woman to have that essence. I think we all have it, but incarnated in a female body, we have more access to the feminine energy. When we become aggressive and angry and assertive in kind of a harsh way, we're more in our masculine essence, and sometimes to a degree that is depleting for the woman. So it's not a matter of not being assertive and getting things done and becoming a leader or a boss babe or whatever it is, but we want to do it in a way that honors the way our energy works. So it's really about healing the entire world, because the world is out of balance. The way we honor the feminine, if you look collectively at humanity versus the masculine, we still have a sense that the masculine is the superior qualities. And why would that be? Well, because what do we need to survive? To simply survive, we need to be bigger than the next guy and knock him over the head and get the food and have a place to live that someone else can't steal. So that's very root chakra. That's very, very basic survival, where we need to have those skills of power over and dominance. And in many ways, we haven't evolved that far out of that. So if we don't have those basic things, then there's not as much room for us to develop compassion and empathy and caring. So those qualities have sort of been pushed aside in favor of the dominant qualities. And that even happens inside of women. If women are threatened enough on their survival, they can become incredibly aggressive in trying to survive. It's like the cat in the corner going, hee! It's all of us that have that tendency to overemphasize the masculine drive and survival. I must survive, I must have my kids survive above all else. And there's not so much room for that empathy and compassion that extends far beyond the nucleus family, and even far beyond your own community. It extends to the whole world. So when we as women, and this course is specifically for women, when we embark on a journey of healing the sacred feminine within ourselves, honor all the ways in which we have neglected it, and we have not stood in our worth of what it is that we bring to the world and can bring to a relationship and can bring to a family and can bring to ourselves. If we are not deeply in touch with the worth of that, it's like you can't even use the word worth, because it's like beyond worth. It's like existential that we have those qualities in society. Our kids would just die if there was no one pouring that kind of love onto them, or severely misthrive and possibly never get over it. So it's a matter of women becoming so aware of how worthy they are of love, of protection, of financial resources, because of what they inherently give. And we're not there. And we want to try and change the outer structures that are in place that would still honor the person that is the CEO over the person who is a preschool teacher, in terms of what we give them as resources. And resources is what makes us feel safe. When we have enough resources in the bank, so we know that we're going to have a house, a roof over our head, and we're going to have enough money to survive into old age and to feed ourselves and all those things, that gives us a fundamental sense of safety. And if someone who is pouring out their feminine qualities into the world as a job is not remunerated equally to someone who is producing at a different level, it really is a reflection of how we don't honor the nurturing, the empathizing, the compassion as much as we should, because we need it. We all have been in a situation where we were not embraced with empathy, and how incredibly devastating that was. When I work with people and we start to unravel what are the things that are still sitting as knots in the body from a really young age, often that impacts a human being way into adulthood, way into old age. I have clients in their 80s remembering things that happened when they were 5 that's still lodged in their energy system. So when we don't honor that lack of loving and caring and empathy, that can damage a human being in some cases for life, we don't understand that empathy, love, and care is as important as food and a roof over our heads. And those two together is what brings a sense of belonging and safety, and I'm loved and I get to be in this world. So my assertion here is that we do this work together as women, and women have always come together in community, in groups. So there's a lot of this that we can learn on our own by studying books, my videos, but ultimately it's always an invitation to come together as a group, because that is how women function best, to know that their sisters are around them and that they can strengthen this inner appreciation of themselves in a very real way. And that's very different from sort of stomping your foot and declaring, I am worth it, I really am. Because if you don't believe it from the inside, truly and fully and completely, it's not going to bring you what you want in your life. You're still going to feel less than, because what you bring is mostly from that side of the equation of loving, empathy, and caring. So what we work with throughout this course and in the book is to strengthen our own sacred feminine essence within. Really work with that, because it is within each of us to have this deep capacity for compassion and empathy. And when we don't meet that in, say, a relationship or in society, it's simply because the other person, or wherever you're meeting this in a workplace, is also not in touch with that self-compassion and empathy that is required. So it isn't just that women have been abused in society. Men, in their feminine essence, have also been told that side of them must be pushed down, possibly even to a greater degree than women have been told. So men, throughout history has been raised to be warriors and to push and to climb whether it's the corporate ladder or if it's who can bring home the biggest piece of meat. There's a competitiveness there, and we still to this day push men into the front lines, and there is no room for fear or a weakness or vulnerability even in that state. So young boys from a really young age are told to shut that off. So say literally men can, in some cases, be so shut off from their own feminine essence, and only from that place can they become brutal, right? So people can have this capacity to become brutal when they're not in touch with their feminine sacred essence that would never harm anyone, that is here to heal and to hold and to empathize with and to reassure. That kind of love is streaming from the feminine essence when it's flowing properly. So let's realize that we are teaching our men in many ways not to be in touch with their feminine essence, and then we miss it in our relationships when they're not. So this is what we'll be working on, but inwardly, inside of ourselves. We will work with this on the inner plane, in the inner constellations, in our bodies, in our voices, in our way of relating to ourselves and each other. And from there, what we attract outwardly and what we broadcast outwardly will shift as well. So it's like revolution from the inside out.